Hey y'all, it has been a whirlwind few days of activism. Had Tuesday going to Snohomish City Council for the Pride contract event. That was awesome. And then this morning I was at the clinic, and then after that I went up to the Tulalip Indian Reservation for Earth Day and got to participate and see all the different vendors that were there. And they had a healthcare clinic up there. They could have pricked my finger and taken my blood pressure if I wanted that done. They had free food, giving away folks organic produce and whatnot, and pieces of smoked salmon, and there was teas that you could try and learn about herbs, and it was really awesome. Really, really cool. There were people up there that had jewelry, and yeah, it was great. And the reason I was up there is because I got started with this group, stretching myself even more thin, but hey, called Standing for Washington and Standing for Nature. And they were a big part of the initiative 2403 that passed here through the City of Everett voters, 57%, to give the Snohomish River rights, giving us the ability to say the river has rights and it needs to be defended, meaning like you can't pollute it, you can't build right on it, you can't build right next to it in a way that is going to impact it. And so I was up there with those folks today, and they are at the Snohomish Charter Review Committee meeting tonight, and Abby had written an article about the Charter Review that I am going to read to you because it's, once again, so disappointing to learn that your government, people that are running certain committees, are not transparent, it seems, and they don't really want to engage the voting population about what's going on, how they can participate, how they can propose amendments. And so here's her article. In November 2024, Everett voters passed Initiative 2403, granting the Snohomish watershed the legal right to exist, flow, and thrive. Standing for Washington sponsored that initiative because we knew the public, when given a real chance to participate in their government, does the right thing for the natural world we depend on. That belief is precisely what is happening with the Snohomish County Charter Review Commission concerns us deeply, and why every Snohomish County resident should be paying attention. The Commission convenes once every 10 years. For the duration of its term, it is a governmental body conducting official public business and making recommendations that will appear on the November 2026 ballot for every Snohomish County voter. The decision it makes and the process by which it makes them matter enormously. 10 years is a long time to wait if something goes wrong, and in our view, something is going wrong right now. David Toyer of Toyer Strategic Advisors, a pro-developer political consulting firm based in Everett, operates Region PAC, which contributed to the Concerned Taxpayers of Washington State PAC, the PAC that spent $60,000 on independent expenditures, over $5,000 each, to support the election of 11 of the 15 current Charter Review Commissioners. All of this is documented in Washington State Public Disclosure Commission filings, available to any member of the public who looks. What makes that $60,000 even more significant is that each of the commissioners filed under many reporting thresholds with the PDC, meaning they individually spent less on their own campaigns than independent expenditure. That means the $60,000 spent by the Concerned Taxpayers PAC was not just a contribution among many, it was the single largest financial force in shaping the makeup of this commission. When one pro-developer political network with a clear stake in the county's land use and environmental policy is responsible for the dominant financial influence over who sits on this body, the question of where that body's allegiance lies is not an unfair one. David Toyer is not a disinterested party. He led the opposition campaign against Everett Initiative 2403, the initiative that granted rights to the Snohomish River watershed, pouring money into the effort to defeat it at nearly 50 to 1 against our campaign spending. Everett voters passed it anyway with 57% of the vote. After it passed, the Master Builders Association filed suit to remove the new law, and that case is currently in court as they have overturned the will of Everett voters and stripped the watershed of the rights Everett voters granted it. The same network of interests that fought those watershed protections help elect 11 of the 15 commissioners now writing the next version of Snohomish County's governing charter. And one more thing. As reported by the Everett Herald, a sitting commissioner on this body is David Toyer's cousin. And it gets worse. The commission's coordinator, the staff person responsible for managing the public submission process and meeting operations, is an employee of Toyer's Strategic Advisors. An ethics complaint by One Voice Snohomish was filed against the hiring of that coordinator, raising structural concerns about how the commission is being run and hinting at conflicts of interest. When those complaints were brought forward, the chair of Ethics Commission had to recuse himself due to the personal relationship with the very commission coordinator who was the subject of the complaints. The complaints were ultimately dismissed. We are not alleging that any of this is illegal. What we are saying is that at every turn, the layers of this commission reveal the same tight circle of relationships and developer interests. These are not allegations, they are public records. Knowing who shaped the formation of this commission makes the operational opacity all the more troubling. When Standing for Washington attempted to submit a public proposal, a charter amendment to establish an independent office of the ecosystem advocate, we encountered a process that was nearly impossible to navigate. There was no publicly available submission form. There was no published workflow explaining how proposals are reviewed or who holds responsibility at each stage. There was no public list showing what had been submitted or where any proposal stood. The public was left to figure it out on their own. We know this is avoidable because Pierce County's Charter Review Commission, going through the same process at the same time, has shown exactly what a well-functioning commission looks like. As early as February 2nd, they published a full communication plan, a template submission form, a 22-step amendment workflow with designated responsibilities at each stage, a visual workflow chart, and a running public list tracking every submission received. Any Pierce County resident could follow their commission's work in real time and know exactly where things stood. Snohomish County residents had none of that. Not in February, when Pierce County was already setting a high bar for public transparency, and not on April 8th, when the public submission deadline for new proposals closed. When a government body makes its process opaque, it does not just inconvenience residents, it suppresses participation. People who cannot find the process do not submit proposals. People who do not know the deadlines miss them entirely. People who cannot find a workflow explaining how proposals are received, reviewed, sponsored, read, and voted on have no way of knowing what the commission is doing or when their voice is needed. That disenfranchisement, and whether intentional or not, the effect is the same. Whatever this commission produces will go to voters on the November 2026 ballot. That is the check, and it is an important one. But a vote on amendments shaped behind an opaque process by a commission whose independence is in question is not the full measure of democratic accountability. The public deserves to understand what they are voting on and how it came to be on the ballot. Standing for Washington will continue to monitor this commission and advocate for the transparency that Snohomish County residents deserve. An engaged public and an informed public is the most powerful check that we have. We are paying attention, and we hope you will too. I hope you will also, after listening to me read this, now you don't have to if you've made it this far, and get involved in your local government, whether it be this process in Snohomish County, whether it be your city council. You have to show up. Even if you zoom in, even if you phone in and just say, I don't like this and this is why. Or I like this and this is why. Either way, we have to start being more involved. We have to start paying more attention, because these people are going to destroy this beautiful place that we have, and they're already well on their way. Thanks, y'all. Have a good one.